Oh my god. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, this is so informal. So, and you're probably like, why do I have these on pencils? I don't know. It's a thing. I like pencils.
I like it.
Okay, period.
It goes with the topic of creating.
Yes, it does.
It do.
Don't start.
Okay.
Okay, I cannot. Okay, so welcome back to another episode of It's Not Raw, It's Real with your girl Bodega Nosh, Raw Reality Unmasked. I have a special guest. Everybody say hello to Priscilla, also known as Prissy Plays.
Yes, yes,
Period.
yes.
Am I doing it right? I
Uh,
feel like I'm making a little bit like
I think
like
it's middle finger to thumb.
I feel like I'm doing like a nerve test.
Yes.
Tap here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tap
Is it?
it. Middle finger to the thumb. Yes. 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 It comes from queer culture. Yes.
Okay, period. I don't know. I just she would be. Hold on. This is Raw Reality Unmasked. Is answering the phone for the person that edits these videos, knowing that I'm trying to record. I'm trying to record. Oh my god. Oh, no. I'm trying. I'm trying. Now you're on it. Gotta go. Call you back. Bye. 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 Seeing on edits is crazy. Like I said, Raw Reality Unmasked. Yeah. So, would you like Priscilla or Prissy?
Prissy's
I
cool. I
like
think
Prissy.
yeah, Prissy's cool. And then but Priscilla is my real name and everybody's always like, how do you pronounce that or how do you spell it? This or the other. Is it double L? Is it single L? But I always say it's how the person wants to pronounce it because my mom called it, she calls me Priscilla and
Boricua in the building.
word,
Period.
word, word. But y'all, like the story is that my mom was gonna give me one L, and then my aunt was like, "No, you need to do it like the Americanos, and you need to give her two L's." So, I've always been like, "Oh, I like the single L because that's the way my mom says it." But then some people really have interesting ways of like, especially like I think folks from the Caribbean,
Mm.
like they'll say Priscilla, like they'll add an
Mm.
I after the
Ooh,
L's. Yeah, and I
so
love that. I'm
exotic.
like, that's so pretty, but like, however, I have a politic of like being flexible and how to
Okay.
pronounce my name. But
Okay.
I am Prissy too, and I'm Prissy Plays.
Period.
Right. But I'm also poetic Prissy.
Yeah, ooh. We love a multifaceted creative.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Listen. Okay. Well, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being
Thank you for having
here.
me.
Look at me looking at the time. Can y'all see this? I hope y'all can. That's embarrassing. Let me move this. I'm so happy that you're here. Yeah.
I'm excited to be here. It's my first time ever being on a podcast.
What?
So
Is it still a podcast? Y'all let me know in the comments because I'm like, is it you? I call it a YouTube series because I
okay,
never say
yay.
podcast, but not that you're wrong because
Uh-huh.
I could be wrong. You know what
Uh-huh.
I'm
I
saying?
mean,
Because people say YouTube series, I mean, say podcast, but I just
yeah.
they do videos. So I'm like,
Yeah.
is it a podcast video? Like this too much. We making videos and we post them on
Right. Okay. Okay. Okay.
online.
Well, I've never done something like this.
Well, I love
Period. I
that.
love being interviewed.
Oh
I'm usually
my
doing the interviewing.
god!
So yeah,
Really? Oh, you're a
yeah.
journalist too?
Well, in other lives, yeah.
Oh.
I know my resume, like I started off as a editorial intern at a music magazine. And I thought when I
Ooh.
was a kid, I used to go to 17 magazine events in the city.
Oh my
Like that's
god,
how I
that's
learned how to get into the
amazing.
city. Yeah. And like I used to think a lot of people thought I was gonna go into magazines, but then the shift from like print to digital and
Mm.
whatnot kind of like shifted that and I wasn't that it was something I was like I had my own like blog like when I was a
Oh, that's
teen. Yeah, like
amazing.
like
Oh, you was Tumblr before it was Tumblr.
right. And no, yeah,
Uh,
I remember getting on Tumblr like in high school, and at one point we called it like secret society because we didn't want like normal people. I went to a performing arts high
ah,
school, so we were a little.
the drama.
Is it me? Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama.
Yes, insufferable. And so it was we were all like trying to be cool kids, but
Okay, okay.
yeah, so I would run off into the city after school and go
Mm,
to these like events that like they would throw for like kids and whatnot, not kids but like for their audience, which were
mm-hmm.
teenage girls. One time I got invited to like a reader reviews and like got to go to the
Ooh.
offices, and like my quote on like a mascara that I had tried that day made it into the magazine,
Aren't
and
you
it was really
cool?
cool. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's super dope. See, you
Right.
just never know who you might meet and what
Right.
they've done.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
fire though.
Yeah,
That's
thank
super
you.
dope.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So, I didn't continue in like that world, but
Mm-hmm.
like music, kind of like knowing having those skills of like knowing word like that. My editor at that music magazine, like he really gave me like a lot of like
Hmm.
skills on like like literally editing like grammar and the technicals of having
Okay.
how knowing how to communicate like
Storytelling.
correctly. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, it brings me, I guess, to for those of you who were tuning in last week. I think I don't know, like, was I tuning in last week? Oh my god. So I was talking about grief and creating in it, and then kind of getting into just creating in general, but also like to piggyback off of that. And the topic of this week is what fuels your creativity, and then also creating without expectation. And I don't know if it should be like creating without. Well, I don't know. I don't know what question to put first because
Hmm.
part of me feels like creating without expectation is like okay, like all right, or no, I'm sorry. What fuels you is like okay, that thing that gets you going.
Hmm.
You put your shoes on, like you're ready to do it, and
Yeah,
then you get into the creativity. But or maybe they coincide with each other. I don't know.
I think so.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay, I appreciate it because I kind of thought about that. So I would say all that to say, what does fuel your creative work? And you, I don't want to say you have to pick one in general, like a topic, but just in general, because creativity is creativity. You
Right.
can create a meal or
Right.
create a mix or create an article or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is to that, like within those realms of this multifaceted DJ,
Hmm.
journalist, a little bit of everything,
Uh-huh.
Prissy,
Uh-huh.
um, what fuels you? What gets you going in your creativity, and how does that transition into creating
Yeah.
without an expectation?
Yeah. So I feel like it is very vast and wide, like all the things and all the answers,
Mm,
only because of the way that I approach things. I was like one of the I think clearest examples of like why I have this stance that it is everything. It's connections with humans, it's all these things.
mm,
Is because of the framework of my like I studied so I went to performing arts high school. I studied music there and whatnot, but after that experience I was a music major, and I was just like, what am I going to do for college? Is music what I'm going to continue in? And this like all these questions of like people thought I was going to go into magazines and all these things. I and shout out to my parents for allowing me and my siblings too to kind of like pursue what they wanted to pursue. They
mm.
weren't like, you have to do this or
Yeah.
you have to make money or this the other. I think they wanted it like they were like, as long as you get good grades you can do whatever you want to do
Hmm.
type parents. So I'm grateful to that, for that support through them, because as long as I got good grades I could do whatever. And so when it was time to graduate high school and move on to college,
Mm,
I had a few like didn't have too many options because I didn't apply to too many schools, and
mm,
like I had like applied to Berklee College of Music, and
Listen, you never know, sis.
yeah, but I only had those three options, like, because those were the schools that I applied to, and I didn't get into Berklee, so I was like, oh my god, is it time for me to step away from music?
Mm.
And so my two options in here in Jersey were TCNJ and William Patterson.
Okay.
And William Patterson was closer to home. I got way more money. I was an honor student, like all
Come
these things. Like
on.
it was just like,
It just worked out.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
was a better, like in my head at the time, like gonna be a better experience than had I gone to TCNJ, which no shade to TCNJ. I had friends who went there. But I ended up picking William Patterson, and from there, but I went in as an anthropology major.
Mm.
And so anthropology is the study of humans. and and
How did you get here? No, for real.
yeah,
That's so interesting. But they could definitely coincide with the.
right. And
Go
I
ahead.
leaned culturally, so you
Mm.
can be kind of more bioanthro, like people be like, oh, so you study bones? And it was just like, no, actually, I started like, more on like sex and gender, because being a
Mm.
woman, like, I was just like, okay, what's happening, societally, and this, that, the other, and like these were where I navigated. But then ultimately I leaned just generally culturally, and I started interning. So
Mm.
I, like as soon as I could, like I mentioned, the music magazine internship, and that was like an alternative like like punk rock, magazine. And I from there went the complete opposite. I went to do social media at the New Jersey Symphony Orchestra, so a
Mm.
classical like legacy institution,
Yeah.
and so but I started interning, and but also going through my classes.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, well, arts and culture, right? Like the arts, like music, art forms, those are things that we as humans like gravitate towards, and how we
Mm.
choose to express ourselves.
Mm.
That is, but it's a tool. So like society informs music and
Mm.
culture and
Yes.
art and everything, but also vice versa. Like the arts like affect us,
Absolutely.
right? And so it's a relationship between like of back and forth.
Mm.
So like when we're talking
Okay.
about what fuels, like that's why like relationships, what I'm experiencing, what I'm
Yeah. It
growing
is like a love-hate relationship.
it is for me it's that process of like, is this, and I went on to continue to do more arts administration, and
Mm.
like the intersection of arts and culture. I wrote a whole thesis on it, like,
Let's
yeah.
go.
And I did study abroad, like I studied music in India
I
for a
remember you
month,
saying
yeah. Yeah,
that.
and like to so that relationship really was at the heart of what
Mm.
I was, all the things that I was
So like
doing,
the
my
foundation
internships.
with the music and
Yeah, because it
yeah.
was like a common thread of like, well, like the art is a tool for us, but
Mm.
it also like informs our lives and
Yeah.
affects us.
Influences.
Yeah, influences for sure. And I continued to like realize those things, but I leaned more administratively.
Mm.
So as I continued on this path, and like was always kind of like finding small ways to be creative and whatnot, but I think the biggest touch, like pivot back into artistry,
Mm.
has been, choosing to learn to DJ. And
That's so dope.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
super dope.
yeah, it's been a like transformative experience,
Mm.
and to one just be back in creative, because being administrative, right, like you're like, I'm out the way, I'm trying to help people do what
Yeah.
they gotta do.
Behind the
And
scenes.
yeah, like, and I've so proudly, like at some of my last positions and whatnot, when I'm doing community engagement work, it's been engaging artists and
Mm.
paying artists. I love paying artists.
Mm.
um and that's all has been wonderful, and I'm proud of that work. And I like more of like a programmer, a producer, like, somebody
Mm.
who's putting other folks in the limelight,
Gotcha. They
if
need
you
a
will.
team. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that is honorable, like, important work.
Absolutely.
But to be now back, you know put on my Percy Plays hat, if you will, and honor creativity in this way, has been a really transformative because you're dealing with your ego, you're dealing with your vulnerability of who you
Yeah,
are, and DJing is such a public art because you're
it
making your
is.
decisions
That's
live.
that's true. That's
Like
true.
you can a visual artist, right? Like traditionally, they can put their brush stroke and oh, I don't like that, and like
Mhm.
restart, like a and traditionally, right, some people could do live painting and it's more
Yeah.
like a DJ process, but um to DJing traditionally, like the most like common and standard form of it is DJing live at a party
Yeah.
or an
And
event or
that's so commendable. Like you do it in so we all do it in so many different ways, whether it's greeting somebody and saying hello,
mm,
or you're doing something live
mm-hmm,
where it could end up embarrassing.
mm.
We've all been there.
Word.
Or you feel that way because when we heard your set, you did your thing. It was
Thank
really,
you.
really good.
Thank you.
Listen, I think that everything that you explained in regards to like how that pushed you into like now this prissy plays of music is that was something that was brewing. That was a slow burn, as my
Mm,
good friend would say.
mm,
It was a slow burn of just being able to dive into so many different aspects when it comes to music.
mhm,
Um, the science behind um female and male bodies, and then
mhm,
working at the magazine, like all those different things is like absolute. I think that's super dope. You have a deep love for music, so that's definitely something to fuel you. um so in well, I guess we'll dive still more into
mhm,
prissy plays. Like how do you, because you've created your own sets like mixes and
mhm,
stuff already, right?
mhm,
Right. So what how do you get into that space of creativity and wanting to um make the mix or the type of mix or
mhm,
something? Because
mhm,
and not that, because everybody has their own, like I'll say creative, they'll say
mhm,
creative process,
mhm,
and even I have been struggling to really dive and tap into the creativity I know that exists,
mhm,
that's there.
mhm,
I think that sometimes people should hear like what are some other creative processes.
mhm.
How do you create without expectation? Because it's like, yo, we need money.
Yeah. Yeah,
We need the
yeah.
moolah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Sorry. We
We
need
both put our legs out. Like, ooh.
see, we need to just get your legs up.
Like a showgirl. Which
Not
shout
the
out to
can,
the
not the
shout
cans.
out to the oh my god.
Shout out
I
to the can girl.
Listen, we're gonna talk about creating without expectation. And I've even taken burlesque classes. Like I
What?
continuously like
Oh,
am
that is
yes.
but you put yourself out there. You can't
Yes.
be shy because
No,
I am.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like it is such a vulnerable art form. And I've only taken classes. But I and who the person that I've taken the classes with, her name is Pearl Noir,
Mhm.
and she is a self-proclaimed and rightfully so, like, mahogany queen of burlesque. So it's and when
Ooh.
she's taking her class, it's a majority black women space, and
Mhm.
like, she like being a Boricua woman, like to be, in shared space, and she'll be like, women of color, like this is for, for y'all, and like she's like, you came to learn with a black woman. And so like me
Mm.
honoring, like being in the space to know that it's just not this is an intentionally built space that
Mhm.
honors like ancestry and
Mm.
legacy of, bodies that have been traditionally, like, or historically, not traditionally,
Mhm.
historically uh oppressed, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and really like
No,
at
that's
the
really true.
right. And so she's like, it those classes were always about like the empowerment
I was
and
about to say
like
celebration because we were exploited. Like it's
right, right,
terrible, you
right.
know.
And through her art, like
Mhm.
really, and so that process with her, like of like stepping into the body is really important for me as
Mm.
somebody who's been more academic. Like I've been a little bit disjuncted, that's the word I'm looking for, from my body,
Mhm.
and like growing up, uh I and actually the one poem I wrote about, because I did release one poem.
Ooh, Okay.
I did talk about like growing up as a Puerto Rican, but not only Puerto Rican, Pentecostal like
Mm.
household. Like there was ideals about body that were given to me. And like I feel like I like have navigated like prudish, like to be prudish and whatnot, and hoping I don't
Mm.
come off that way because I my politic is to be like no shame, no shame. And I
Mm.
have internalized a lot of shame that I've
Mm.
been working through a lot.
That's
So which is
real.
why the
That's real.
burlesque classes are really
Yeah,
like,
no, that's
important.
real.
Yeah. Yeah. So going through that process with her, the last time I took the class was the same day that I had my first like DJ gig ever. That wasn't
Mm.
my grounded graduation. So this was like in front of like people who paid to come to this party. It was on a boat.
Wow. Shout out to Grounded.
Yes, shout out to Grounded. But the I took that class and like I had paid for it like
Mm.
earlier in the year. I had no idea this was gonna happen. And at the end of class, we do like a showcase for each other, and it was a
Mm.
really sweet. And we there was only like I had taken the class where there was like 50 women in the room. This was
Mm.
very intimate. There was I want to say 5 women in the room.
Mm.
So everybody went, and then I ended up going last. And I said to them, I'm like, I ended up like performing something very like fun and lighthearted. And it was I told them, I'm like, I want to perform only for the sake of, because we could have chosen not to,
Mm.
but I told them I only want to perform in front of you all right now because I'd rather like you all be the first group of people to see me in vulnerability today before I
Mm.
go on to pay for this party.
That's
And
deep.
it was beautiful. So I
Yeah.
did my thing around
Cause
the
you
room.
laid you laid the foundation of like what that creative moment and that process looked like for you
Yeah.
and what you needed from the room.
Right. 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 I was transparent. I was transparent with my audience about what
Yeah.
what I what I wanted, and because I couldn't do that for my DJ set,
Mm-hmm.
and I took the opportunity in that moment to just be creative with them.
Mm-hmm.
And like yes, it was a case that I knew they were going to clap and this at the other, and but it was that energy had been so intentionally built
Mm-hmm.
that it was a safe space and whatnot. So that helped me fuel me through the extreme nerves that I had for later
Mm.
on that night. I still get so nervous for my DJ sets, and I feel like
Yeah.
you've seen me. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna I get so
Yeah, that's
nervous.
true.
But in terms of like the actual sets, which is I think the question at hand that you were asking me, is that how do I, begin to even curate my
Yeah, well,
sets?
curate or like you said a lot when it pertains to in your creative. Yeah,
Mhm.
immersing yourself in your creative, if
Mhm.
that makes any sense to anyone. Immersing
It
yourself in
does.
the creative, but and being able, and then you said intent, like that really stuck out to me, having that intention, but really like I guess foundation is key. Even if like okay, like you have an order. I don't know if you're big, you have an order. Like you have to. All right, boom. Because I was talking about this yesterday, like feeling like creativity is like on and off switch, and it
Mhm.
doesn't work that way.
Mhm.
But maybe in a sense, it kind of has to be
Mm.
because it's like when you're creating without, in my mind, I'm not a martyr. I'm not a master classer.
Mhm.
Master. I'm not a master classer.
Yeah.
That sounds horrible. Um, I don't know. I kind of feel like I want to be able to like, okay, this is what the foundation looks like.
Mhm.
This is what I want. Like I'm getting myself in a group. I'm unwinding, thinking about the burlesque. Like, you know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
that's really dope. So it's like as pivoting from that conversation to like, all right, well, do we on and off switch? And this
Mhm.
might honestly, y'all, this has nothing to do with next week's video. I don't even know. Is it next week or the week after next? I don't even know what the topic is about. But I definitely want to pivot from creating what fuels you. We got that.
Mhm.
Creating without expectation.
Mhm.
What does that looks like?
Mhm.
But I guess now I want to talk about like the how to
Mhm.
because it's not an on and off switch.
Mhm. Mhm.
And figuring out like, okay, obviously, like we said, we need money.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
how are we getting this?
yeah.
But we also just want to create because for the love of the art.
Right, right, right. The
Oof.
discipline part of it too, like,
Mm.
comes into it because of the like making it something that's like able to be a for me, and it hasn't come up yet, but it's been in, like, stirring in my heart, is
Mm.
service. So a
Mm.
lot of, like, when I'm building things, like, there's people who will tell you, I don't think about who's in the room, I don't think about, and like that's their process.
Mhm.
I, because of the backgrounds that I've been talking about with, like, how art informs society, blah 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 blah, like my anthro brain, right?
Mhm.
I always want to think about the audience, and there's like spaces for, like, there's spectrum of the audience only matters right now, like,
Mhm.
and like there's ways where it can be kind of curation and kind of audience, like,
Mm.
what does the space count for? I think there's always, for me, gonna be of like the feedback of others. In some cases, that's it hinders me because
Mhm.
I'm not um allowing uh my vessel to be a part of the process, and I
Mm.
absolutely do need to, and I feel like I'm at an extreme where I'm in very much service everybody else mode, and
Mm.
like there's people who are on the other extreme, and I think there should be some kind of balance depending on the situation.
Mm.
So I'm actually trying to get to a point in the process where I can allow myself to be me, be
Mm.
less what is everybody else thinking.
It's the overthinking. Like
Mhm.
it's
Right.
it's bad.
Right.
It's like I do a lot of overthinking when it comes to things, and sometimes that can steer you away from one fun,
Right. Right. Yeah, for
having
sure.
fun
Mhm.
and being able to just create, just make, just spin, just
Yeah.
make mistakes.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think there's so much beauty in a lot of what all of a lot of what a lot
Yeah.
a lot of he's like yeah
Like
a lot of what you said, no,
mhm.
for real, because it's you should think about service. You should be
Yeah.
paying attention, like, okay, obviously to what people are thinking to a certain extent, but not to the point where you are drifting away from self and why you were even standing
Yeah.
behind this table and behind this is it
Yeah.
I was about to
Dex.
say a
You can say the
switch I was about
Dex.
to say a switchboard.
And switchboard. I mean, yeah, a little bit, but yeah, the
is
Dex, or
this the electrical?
yeah.
I'm sorry,
I
it's terrible.
mean,
No sense. You can tell
the
who doesn't DJ.
turntables,
The
huh?
turntables.
Yeah, the Dex, whatever, the
I'm
controller.
the controller. I
Yeah,
literally was going to say
the switchboard.
the
It's okay.
switch.
It's okay. The line one channel, please.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, operator. How may I connect you?
I know, right? The whole wide connected is crazy. That's a long ass call. Wait for somebody to call
Yo,
down
that's how they used
for
to
the
do it back in the
ambulance to come.
day.
Okay,
That's how
and
it
a
used to.
rotary phone. Oh girl, we busting your finger. Yeah. So before we go, I just have like two more questions
Okay.
with the couple minutes that we have left.
Okay.
First question is just one or three words. If you could describe three ways that you're able to create a mix or what fuels that mix, what would those words be?
Hmm. Three words on like what I bring with me when I'm creating a mix are community, because I'm playing for
Mm.
others. So thinking of like community, um, authenticity.
Okay.
Yeah, that's big for me. Um, and because I what when I'm spinning, I hope touches hearts essentially.
Mm.
And then the last one is just joy,
Mm.
because joy can look differently. It might be, and I've had to accept that, because I'll be like, nobody's on the dance floor, and I'm like stressing. But joy can be sitting, and somebody just bopping their head, or somebody
Mm.
just, joy can look different ways, and it's not just some the like dance floor is full. It could be somebody up, like listening to me, and I spin in cafes, I spin in different, like, not always a traditional
Settings.
dance
Yeah,
floor
gotcha.
setup. So I have to accept, like, joy can be achieved in different ways.
That's real. That's real. That applies so much outside of creativity. I'm taking that with me, okay? And my last my last question is, if you could provide a piece of advice, i.e. self, if you could provide a piece of advice to a creative that has been struggling to come back to them in their art, what would it be?
I would say the discipline is like self-love, like it is setting the time
Mm.
apart for you, especially as somebody so like outwardly service oriented. I'd be
Mm.
spending so much time trying to support others, and for me right now it really is that, like, oh, but work gotta happen, life gotta, oh, so and so, like,
Yeah.
they've got this going on and I'm trying to be helpful to them, and I'm like, Priscilla, as much as you show up for others, you also have to show up for you and put in the time
Mm.
for your like sets and your practice.
Yo, self love is insane.
It's
That, that, that,
yeah.
no,
But it's also
legit.
like the discipline, knowing that self-love is discipline, right? Because it could
Yeah,
be
no, that's real.
right, everybody's talking about, oh, self-love is more than face masks. Yes, and so for
Nah,
me it's the discipline to like take care of me and be pour into my time
that's real
of
because
my
self love
art.
can't be lazy.
Right,
You can't be
right,
lazy in it, and
right.
that's so because the moment that you're lazy, you're depressed and on the couch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Girl, you done said some words.
Thank
Some
you.
words.
Thank you.
It's gonna come out so hard. Some
Word.
words. Um, and then yeah, I hope you had fun.
Yeah, this was great. This
It
was
was really enlightening. Like,
I'm
thank you so much for
surprised
sharing.
at the things that came out. So
Girl, don't be surprised. Like, sis is intelligent, smart. She is
thank you.
purty.
Thank you.
She got
Thank
the
you.
things going on. She
Thank you.
DJs. She got the job.
Thank
No,
you.
seriously, no. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's all a process. I'm learning. You're still learning. We're all learning. We're figuring it out. And we are doing it unmasked.
Yes.
Wait, why did I?
Real and raw.
Until next time. To you guys, with love, Bodega Nosh, and today,
Prissy plays.
period. Bye.